Meat's back on the menu, boys. Big slabs of meat.
Are you a The Office fan? Beats, Bears, Battlestar Galactica. Hello, hello. Alright. That first part was too dark. Time to be happy again.
Frodo, Mr. Frodo. Don't you miss the Shire, Mr. Frodo? Yes, Sam. I do. But I'm gonna go to the Orgy Island with the elves. It just seems more fun. Mr. Frodo! You dog, you! Sam! Sam! Sam!
Allison Weber, welcome back for 21 months. Goodness gracias. Burger King foot lettuce. Thanks for being here, Joel. Thank you, Allison. Sorry it's so late. Very important business to attend to. You had a scary vacation story. You missed the flight. Yeah, dude, that is my world's biggest fear. Honestly, the second that I finally get my luggage through that belt at the end and you just get it and you see your shit and you're like, fuck yeah. You look at everyone else like, fuck you. I don't care if you ever get any of your shit. I know we were best friends on that plane, but now you can eat crap. That's the best feeling.
Can I get a Hoya? Hoya!
Dude, can we just agree that Lord of the Rings is one of the best movies of all time? And that whatever the fuck it is that Amazon released is just a fucking garbled up dog shit mess. How did they put $1 billion into that film and reaped nothing of what they sowed? It's really sad, truly, when you sit and think about it. Maybe it's a good thing that AI writing will replace normal writers soon. Maybe it's a good thing. How's the Overwatch going? We're done, baby. No more Overwatch. It is out of my dog shit life forever. Well, it's the dog shit. You got through 2 episodes of that garbage and called it quits. I respect that. You fall asleep every time you try to watch Lord of the Rings. No shade, though. No, it's the best movie to fall asleep to. Are we starting late? No, this is when I normally wake up, midnight, just in time to feed my gremlin. Hiya. How am I doing tonight? I'm good. I would have liked to have started early. You want to play Overwatch? Ooh. No! No! I need healing. What's the most toxic gaming community? I'll go first. Overwatch. It fucking sucks. Even the nice people in Overwatch are terrible people. Like when you watch like streamers play and it seems as if though people at the higher ranks are being polite. The only reason they're being polite is because their skills are capable of like making something happen out of nowhere. And I think that's part of the toxicity of Overwatch is just the sense of helplessness that you have in that game. Call of Duty. Yeah, I guess Call of Duty makes some sense. Because everybody's just a bunch of like brain dead. I smoke weed and get crunk. They even have a crunk skin. It's a $20 DLC. Everyone, let's get motherfucking crunk. WoW seems pretty toxic based on what I've heard. Really? World of Warcraft. Wart. I feel like World of Warcraft, isn't that supposed to be just like chill and chatting with the homies? Or I guess there is a PvE or PvP arena or something like that.
Crunk it.
I don't know. I still watch Overwatch streams sometimes, and I just think there's really no coming back for it. Whatever the fuck it is. Like, every streamer that you watch playing Overwatch, you can just tell they just want to kill themselves so bad. Not actually, but kinda. Especially when they're playing the game. And they're just like... Because, like, I get to sit and chat, streaming. It's not like some crazy numbers that I'm putting up for streams or whatever. But, like, you guys are fun to talk to. You guys are positive. It's nice. Imagine playing that fucking game where the game itself is just, one of the many layers of hell, and as written by Dante himself. And then fucking, you look over at your chat and someone's like, heh, brain dead, monkey. You freaking brain dead monkey, what were you thinking? Nice shot, forehead. Omega lol. It's like, shut the fuck up! I'll kill all of you! That's what I expect an Overwatch streamer to just fucking react every time they sign on. I'll find your fucking homes! I'll find your fucking home if anybody Omega lols one more time. But they don't. They have the patience of saints. True saints. Walking amongst us. Can you believe it? God put angels on earth, and they stream Overwatch. Wow. That's so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool, dude. Do I know what happened with Colleen Ballinger? Yeah, let me text her. I was in a group chat with her. Let me see what's up. Just kidding. Let me put that at the end. Just kidding. By the way, playing Friday the 13th. Let's go. Oh, is that out? Red Dead Online has the best community. People just wave at you or actually help you out. Dude, I remember even still whenever I get on there, if somebody has the rolling rock rifle, they would just pick you off, and it's so stupid. Like, I feel like the sniping or even just the shooting in Red Dead should be not like hit scan, but there should be like ballistic drop. You know what I mean? To me, I feel like that would be way more realistic and way more fun. Imagine if you actually had to line up like a really solid shot in that game with taking into account weather and other weird shit. That would be fucking... They should invent that mod if that's possible. David De La Rosa with the 2 says, hi Joel, I'm excited. Or wait, I'm excited Creed got back together. Oh, fuck yeah. Can you take me higher to a place where streamers go when they'd kill themselves? Sorry, I gotta stop saying that. It's gonna happen, then I'm gonna feel bad. Melissa Harrison, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Don't you just feel so much better with Lord of the Rings Shire theme playing in the background? Life is just... It's got its shit figured out. What do you think about Elden Ring? It's too hard, and I suck. There, I said it. I stink. I stink at it, and I don't care to get better. But I do like the art, and I do like the overworld, and the lore, and the fact that it doesn't hold your hand, and you kind of get to, you know, unravel the mystery as you go along. Teresa, thank you for the 229 check kibbles, I think they're called. Is it weird that sometimes I want to tell you what's going on in my life because I feel like we're all friends here? No, go right ahead. There's a 85% chance that I will see it and respond. If I don't, I mean no ill will. But please do let me know. You are my car speakers and it's good surround sound moment. Nice. I'm over here. And now I'm over here. And now I'm over here. Bro is the nicest community I've ever seen. Hell yeah, dude. We're so fucking nice. We're so fucking nice. We're so fucking nice. We'll hold you down in the bed and let you know that we care. I care about you so fucking much. Do 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 do. Tim Richards, Dickie Tim is what he likes to go by. With the 5 says, when I win the lottery, I'm paying Joel $500 an hour to follow me around and narrate my life. I don't even know if it would be worth it, to be honest with you, Tim. I would have to sit there and think about it. Do-do-do. Don't feel weird. I was literally yapping about your breakup last stream. That's okay, Ethan. But you're going to come up strong. Oh my god. Dude, all the singing in Lord of the Rings is so pretty, dude. Listen to this shit.
We ride for Gondor, for Frodo.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude! Oh shit, they're back! Rachel, welcome back for 14 months. I like how I enter the stream with you saying I care about you so freaking much in the most threatening tone. I hope you're having a great evening. Thank you, Rachel. I do. I just care so fucking much. I say that as my teeth start to like crumble apart from squeezing them so hard. We'll go right from one banger to a next. If you can recognize these jams. You belong here, man. These are the classics. Elvis Press Play, welcome back for 10 months. Says, actually enjoy Lord of the Rings movies better than the books. Oh, nice, yeah. I mean, I only listened to some of the book on the plane. And yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies obviously get to the point a lot faster. The audio in the back make you think about your life choices. Good. It's good to do a little self-reflection. Do men still have their Spider-Man boxers in their 30s asking for a friend? I wish. There were so many pairs of undie pants that I had kept for way too long. You know, when you just like, as a guy, I don't know if it's the same for the ladies, but you just look in your underwear drawer and it's just like filled with shit, riddled with moth holes, or wherever the holes came from. Probably old acidic shit stains. And you don't know why you don't get rid of them, but there's a degree of sentimental value there. You know, if like hypothetically you go, you know, say you go missing, like you would hope to God that they would use your, you know, old Spidey Man undies from, you know, 7th grade and shove that shit right in the, you know, a basset hound's, bloodhound's nose. Because granted, you may not have worn that in 16 years, but that scent is embedded in those things. And it could be the greatest lead that the investigation finds. It's the Skyrim music, it is, yeah. Far horizons. Horror on the Rocks at the 5 says, Gondor calls for aid. None let me see them tootsies. The beacon! I love the memes related to the beacon, the lighting of the beacon. I can't quite remember what they are, but I feel like it has something to do with OnlyFans. Do I need undies? No, I'm set. I got undies on lock. You find a good pair and you stick with it for everything. From climbing Mount Everest to your wedding day. You fucking rock with those things. And Amanda Funk, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Zesty. Oh, I'm very zesty. Alright, let's kick this off. BB. We got vacation stories. Did I put that in the title? I hope so. Either way, who cares, right? You need ice cream. It's 103. Holy shit, that's hot. That's so fucking hot. How many stories tonight? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stories tonight. Yes. Alright. Let's get it. Let's spaghetti it. I feel like I missed summer. We're already, I don't know. We're already here. We are already in mid-July, and I just feel like I have not taken any time to just really sit and appreciate the beauty of summer. Kind of stinks. Heather Lynn, thank you for the 2. And your first ever super chat. Thank you, thank you. And Sarah TR with just says, happy birthday to my son Julian, 24 today. Happy birthday, Julian. Hope you're having an awesome TUFO. So much back to school stuff already in stores. That shit should be illegal. You should not be able to do any back to school shit till like August. It should also be illegal that any schools open prior to September 1st. It just ain't right. It ain't right. King Julian. I like to move it, move. He better be dancing to that shit. My voice should be illegal. It should. but it's not. I found a loophole. A loopy hole. A gaping loophole. Okay, sorry. Where am I? No data on the disk. We're good. We're Gucci. Okay. Got a little background noise recorded so I can remove that shit later. You need to do a live reading where you take 5 grams of shrooms and then read stories till you calm down. Till I come. That'd be fun. Never taken... Well, maybe I did. I don't remember. I grew up taking regular vacations with my family. Now that I have my own family, I like to keep that tradition alive. And every summer, when my kids get out of school, we take a trip somewhere. We don't usually drive more than 8 hours, and more sometimes than not, we'll stay in one of the coastal cities since we live on the East Coast. This specific year, my kids were 7 and 8, and my husband and I figured that they were mature enough to drive through the night. This way, he could arrive at our destination in the morning and not waste an entire day driving. We started the 8-hour drive to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at around 11 at night. After stopping for bathrooms and gas, we planned on arriving at our destination at around 7 in the morning. The plan was, when we arrived, we would take an hour or 2 nap and then spend the rest of the day at the beach. However, we almost didn't make it to Myrtle Beach. At some point during the night, it started to downpour outside. It was raining so hard that it was almost like driving through a snowstorm. You literally could not see 2 feet in front of the car, not to mention that it was pitch black on the highway. Add these two together and you have a very dangerous drive. I was also starting to notice that my husband was kind of swerving back and forth a little bit. Thankfully, the girls were sleeping because I wouldn't want them to have seen me like this. I was a wreck during this part of the drive. After some quiet arguing, I finally convinced my husband to pull over and wait out the rain. I could tell that he was annoyed because he just wanted to get there, and he hated it when he was behind schedule. But our family's safety is more important, and he realized that eventually. While we were parked, I suggested that we switch spots. I told him while it was raining, he could shut his eyes and nap for a little while. I told him that if it stopped raining, I would drive to the nearest rest area and that we could switch back. He agreed, and within seconds, he was already snoring. I put on my headphones and started to listen to an audiobook while I waited out the rain. I would occasionally lift my head up and look around to see if the rain subsided, but if it never seemed to stop. Hall with the 5 says, haven't been here in a while, glad I could catch this one, looking forward to it. Thank you, Hall. Hall, right? Is that what it said? Yeah, sorry. I couldn't, the letters kind of mushed together. My eyes are getting fucking dog shit. But thank you, Hall. I would occasionally lift my head up and look around to see if the rain subsided, but it never seemed to stop. While I was sitting there, I noticed a light in my rearview mirror. They were those super bright halogen lights, and they seemed even brighter as they reflected off the rain on the wet back window. I knew that it wasn't a cop because I didn't see any flashing lights. I made sure that the doors were locked just in case, and I continued listening to my book. I honestly didn't think anything of this vehicle with bright lights that was now parked behind us. I just assumed that whoever this person was, they were doing the same thing that we were doing. About 10 minutes passed and the lights turned off behind me alerted my attention. I looked up at the rearview mirror and I could see that the vehicle was still there because my red flashing hazard lights were still lighting up some of the area behind our vehicle. I was trying to see if I could make out any details of the driver, but the rain was still coming down too hard. As I was looking, I noticed the door of the vehicle whip open. My heart started to race as I was thinking about what I would do if someone walked over to the door. Then, my worst fear was becoming a reality. A huge person seemed to emerge from the driver's side of the vehicle. I continued to look in my rearview mirror, and as the person started to approach our vehicle, I turned on our car just in case. As the car turned on, the man was now standing right next to my window. He lightly tapped on the window and gestured for me to roll it down. I cracked it and asked if I could help him. In this deep voice, this man said, "Oh, yeah. My car broke down. I just need a ride to the gas station. You think you can help me out?" I told him that I would call the police and they would be able to help him. I pointed to the back seat and told the man that I had my kids back there and there wasn't any room and that I was sorry. The man bent down and looked into the vehicle. He looked into the back seat and saw my 2 sleeping children, and in that same voice says, "Oh, you have children? Never mind then, ma'am. You have a good night." And then he walked back to his vehicle, and I kid you not, he just drove away. His car was not broken down, and for some reason he lied to me in order to gain access to my vehicle. I was sick to my stomach thinking about what reason he could have had for getting into the vehicle. Give him a ride. Do I wear glasses? If so, invest in some blue light fill. Yeah, I mean, I have Flux on right now, which turns everything orange. It's just sometimes whenever it's like Flux is on, if there's like, it like kind of, it's so orange that it almost like melds a lot of the text together with the other text. So it's just like hard to differentiate like green, like the green on orange donation text. You knew it was going to be another Karen story? I don't think this is very Karen-esque. It sounds kind of creepy. I was sick to my stomach thinking about what reason he could have had for getting into my vehicle. I shook my husband immediately and told him what had happened, and then we decided to call the police. I didn't really know what to say other than that it was a very strange encounter. I told them it was a black truck, and that was all I could tell in the rain. The cops kind of brushed it off, and The cops kind of brushed off what I said since I really didn't have any evidence, and technically the guy didn't do anything wrong, I guess. I was just worried that whatever intentions this man had, someone else may fall victim to his game. Not long after speaking with the police, the rain subsided and we continued our trip. We decided not to tell the girls about this strange man because we didn't want to freak them out before the vacation even started. And this was a few years back, and I still haven't told the kids. I plan on telling them someday, but right now, I just want them to enjoy life and not worry about creeps in the night. Karen. What's my favorite chips? I do like those sweet and spicy Dorito ones, the purple bag. Those shit are pretty fire. But I haven't had them in so long, and I don't know if I ever will again. Oh, I was cold earlier, now I'm fucking hot. Spicy sweet chili, yeah, those are good as fuck. I was like, yeah, when I would just like get that and then have like a big fucking thing of soda, watching something good, that was like my heaven as a kid. I mean, I'm sure you guys still experience that, type vibe where you just get a big fucking thing of snack and a drink and just straight up chill. Do you have a P.O. box? Can we send you things? No. I'm afraid that people are going to send me their poop with like sprinkles on it or some shit. Glitter, that would be terrible. It'll be like iDubbbz's old bad unboxing videos. How am I doing? I'm doing great. poop glitter bomb. It will happen. I don't care how old I get. I love taking vacations with my family. I'm in my early 30s now, and I still look forward to going away with them every year. It's even more enjoyable now because my brother and I bring our families as well. Of all the years that we ever went on a trip together, only 1 year did I have an experience that was less than stellar. When I was in my early 20s, I can't remember the exact year, we took a trip to Maine. This was probably the last vacation I went on with my family, where it was just my brother and I and no girlfriends. This was the first vacation where we didn't go to some beach town, which I was totally okay with. I love the ocean and the beach, but sometimes it's just crazy in the summer. I was really looking forward to a relaxing getaway in a secluded Maine town. Before arriving at the house rental, I only had the pictures to go by, and let me tell you, the place looked incredible. When we were pulling into the long driveway, the pictures were becoming a reality. It was a giant white house that was tucked way back into the woods. There was a huge wraparound porch that wrapped all the way to the back of the house, and the porch in the back overlooked a body of water. I believe it was a river that actually flowed into the ocean. When we arrived, we were greeted by this man named Henry. An older man, but he seemed super friendly. He was the owner of the house, and he was just letting us know that he lived right up the road, and if we needed anything, to just call and he'd be right down. One night I noticed right away that everyone in Maine just seemed incredibly friendly. Maybe it's just because I'm from New York, but I just feel like every person I talked to while I was in Maine was just incredibly happy and pleasant. The first day and evening were great. We ran into our first issue that first night before heading to sleep, though. We noticed that none of the doors had locks. The front door was an older wooden door with these worn-out metal doorknobs that didn't contain any sort of lock. The back of the house had all windows that overlooked that body of water, and at the end of the windows was a sliding door that led to the back deck, and there was no lock on that door either. We were creeped out, but just kind of shrugged it off. My dad said that he would talk to Henry in the morning and try to figure out some solution. Morning came, and my dad and I walked down to Henry's house. My dad voiced his concerns and inquired how to go about locking the house at night. Henry laughed like he had just heard the funniest joke of all time. He then said in a sort of upbeat voice, "This is Maine. We don't lock our doors in Maine." Me and my dad looked at each other, and then my dad continued speaking with Henry. And basically the conversation went nowhere, and we just made peace with the fact that we wouldn't be locking our doors during our trip. A few nights passed, and I have to be totally honest, I didn't sleep very well. Maybe I'm just a paranoid person, but knowing that the doors were unlocked was giving me huge anxiety. One night I heard a weird noise coming from outside the bedroom that I was sleeping in. My brother and I were sharing a room since it was a huge room and it had multiple beds. Because my brother was only a few feet away, I woke him up and asked him if he could hear that strange noise. He was annoyed that he was awake now, but he admitted that he could hear the noise as well, and he also thought it was strange. I got up and slowly opened the bedroom door. I started to make my way down the hall to the kitchen. I noticed that there was a light on above the stove, and this didn't sit right with me. I was always the last one to go to bed, and I knew this light wasn't on when I went to my bedroom for the night. I didn't completely freak out because, after all, it was impossible that one of my parents woke up and... Oops. Anyone here have pet lizards or snakes? I'm sure somebody here does. F is for fart needs to be the outro. It's a new comedy animation show starring Bill Burr. You have a milk snake? Aren't they pretty chill? They like don't bite and stuff. You have a Siamese brat, a brat-versed. You're sitting in a room with a bearded dragon right now, folks. Folks, listen up. Well, Sarah, I need you to get that bearded dragon out of its cage and as close to your phone or gaming TV as possible. You have a turtle? Pull him out. Get him out. Reptilians, report to the forefront. We need you in the battle. Your English Mastiff's gonna eat him? No, don't do that. I am your bearded dragon. Whip out that turtle. Get yourself some salmonella. I didn't completely freak out because, after all, it was possible that one of my parents woke up and grabbed a drink of water or something. I continued to tiptoe through the kitchen and make my way to the living room. Even though it was pitch black outside, the moon was bright, so I was able to slightly see outside of the windows. As I scanned every window, I swear that I saw someone run by. I jumped back and sort of gasped out loud. I started to duck down and continued looking out the window, and I didn't see anything. It was entirely possible that my eyes were just playing tricks on me, though, but I swear that I saw someone. I went back and told my brother, who basically told me to just shut up and go to sleep. He was convinced the noises were just the house and that my imagination was tricking me into thinking that I actually saw someone. Nothing happened the next couple of nights. And then on the last night, I could hear the strange noises again. This time, I quietly snuck out of my room, and as I looked down the hall, I saw someone running out of the house and closing the sliding door in the living room. This time, I know I saw someone. I woke up the entire house, and I told them that someone was in the kitchen, and honestly, they didn't seem to believe me. My dad still called Henry, even though it was in the middle of the night, and told him that I had seen someone in the house and asked if we should call the police. Henry said he'd call them, and that he was going to head over to the house right away to make sure that we were okay. When Henry walked in, I felt sick. I know I only caught a glimpse of the guy fleeing the house, but he appeared to be wearing the same thing Henry was wearing. I didn't speak up, but writing this now, I kind of wish I had. The police showed up, and my dad and Henry spoke to them. I don't know what they said or did, and it didn't matter too much to us since we were leaving in a few hours anyway. Thankfully, nothing happened the rest of that night. And as I write this now, I'm 100% confident that I saw a person in the house that night. My gut tells me that it was Henry, but I don't have evidence. My gut tells me that it was Henry, but I don't have any evidence to back that up. I have no idea what he was doing, or if he even planned on doing anything. It is possible that this guy was just some sort of creep who liked to spy on people voyeuristically. Either way, I'm happy it's a distant memory now, and after this trip, I'm happy to sticking with just the simple beach towns. If you raise succulents, you should grow some San Pedro cactus, Peruvian torch, or Burgesi. Natives to the Andean mountains use them ritually. Oh shit, what do they do? They trip on them? They excrete the DMT from it. Nick, appreciate that, man. Hope work's going well for you. Alright, story 3. I'm kind of cruising. The fuck? Maybe I should start late. Next stream, I'm going to start at 4 a.m. Wait, right? Yeah, that was... Yeah, one about the storm, and then this one was about this house in Maine, I guess? Yeah, story 2. What's y'all favorite dessert? Honestly, I've just been enjoying... my favorite dessert. Fuck, I don't even know. You know what I don't really like? I'm not a big fan of angel food cake. Is it angel food cake? What a weird term, angel food cake. I guess you gotta say it differently. Angel food cake. Angel food cake. Angel foof. Yeah, angel food cake. It's just like, it's like so thin, you know? I like the icing. And my mom never put strawberries on it growing up. I always saw they had strawberries or something like that. It was like supposed to be like a brunch, like a Like, we have it with coffee, but we always had it in like random dinners. Dinner. But it's like, what I wanted to do with it was just like squish it into a ball in my hands and just eat it all at once, because it was just like so light. I like dense, very dense desserts. Dense desserts by Dave. You like mochi ice cream and teriyaki ice cream. Pound cake, fuck yeah, dude. I like it thick. Dense desserts these nuts. Okay. Bacon dessert, yeah, dude. You should put, dude. That would be kind of good. Imagine putting like little bacon bits on an angel food cake. I know people always say like ooh about stuff, but if you've had a donut with like maple shit and like little bacon bits on it, you could probably have an angel food, just a little bit of angel food cake with bacon bits for a snack, for a treat. Sweet potato casserole, oh my god, yeah. Shit's fire. Making keto carrot cake for your birthday? Let's go, dude. I feel like that's the way to do it. If you're gonna have like a big cheat meal thing, you might as well just make it keto. So at least just diarrhea's through your whole body. You must be a sugar addict. I'm not into sugar like that. Probably why I prefer angel food cake. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Taking a vacation and visiting cool and exotic places is awesome, if you can afford it. Unfortunately, when I was in my late 20s, I could not afford such a luxury. I worked 40 to 50 hours a week to basically just pay my bills. I know that's a super scary in itself, but not the story I'm about to share. Instead of spending money, I didn't have to travel somewhere. I decided... Wait, what? Interscare Sleep with a 5 says, wanted to drop by and support the patriarch of the true horror narration genre. Love the channel and the streams. Thank you, Interscare. Appreciate you. Support the patriarchy. JK. But Interscare, thank you. How you been? What's the good news? Number 14. Instead of spending money, I didn't have to travel somewhere. I decided to use my first ever paid vacation from work to have what they call a staycation. If anyone isn't familiar with that word, it's exactly how it sounds. It's a vacation where you stay at home. I planned on using this time to actually catch up on work around my house, and for the record, I rent this house, I don't own it. I would get all my cleaning and laundry done. I would catch up on some shows that I had been neglecting, maybe even play some video games and catch up with friends that I hadn't seen in months. It all sounded so good, but better than anything else was just the fact that I didn't have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work for an entire week. The first few days, I admit, I didn't do anything, and it was glorious. On Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember exactly, I noticed a bunch of teenagers outside of my house in the early evening. I was a teenager once, so honestly I didn't care if they were just kind of lingering outside. As long as they weren't messing with my stuff, I could care less. I was getting ready to leave at around 7:30 to meet some friends for drinks, and as I was leaving, I noticed the teens were still outside, just doing their thing. It was probably at least 10 kids, if I remember correctly. As I was backing out of my driveway, I noticed a few of the kids standing at the bottom of my driveway. I rolled down the window and verily asked them, please, get the fuck out of the way. Was the flesh the bread or the meat? I imagine 2 hunks of meat and regular sandwiches fixings in between. Yeah, bread was the flesh of Grimace. Screwdog, thank you, good to see ya. Joel, you're a legend, man. You make my work days go by easier. Having skipped a day of listening, keep doing what you do. Haven't skipped a day of listening, keep doing it. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you. Gotta keep up streaks. That would be kind of sick, honestly, if like YouTube showed you your like streaks on like or not but like a content creator's content. That would be kind of neat, and then it just like had it next to your name. Did you try the Grimace shake? I did. Yeah, I thought it was good, honestly. But granted, I hadn't had sugar, like hardcore sugar and like, like high fructose corn syrup sugar in forever. So for me, I was like, and it started spraying out of my eyes. Diabetes. Do you guys got any tips on trying to pull an all-nighter? Oh, shoot, man. I mean, video games usually keep me awake, if that's what you're trying to do. Whenever I would play video games, it was like, no matter how tired I was, there was something about just like staring at a screen, playing something engaging that just sort of like kept me up. Unless you're doing an all-nighter to study, then probably don't play video games. He watched a whole Grimace lore video recently. 'Twas mildly interesting. Yeah, I think I saw, what's his name, who does like horror history, CZS World. He was doing something on Instagram related to Grimace. Yeah, I guess loud music, right? Just don't get too cozy. Oh, it was CZS. Nice, dude. Oh, it's CZ's World. Okay. I don't know why. I like get confused trying to like. I kind of want him to like change his name to something more like easy to remember. For some reason, it just confuses me. Stephanie Bowling with the 10 says Jacob was very sad. He was sitting at our nightstand in our bedroom and he was writing about his cousin Natalie Jacob, who was reflecting on her 27 years of life before she passed 13 months ago. Shit. I'm sorry about that, Jacob. But it's good to reflect on the good things of those who have passed. I rolled down the window and very nicely asked if they could move for a second so I could get out. Well, apparently this question was way out of line. One of the kids marched right up to my car and yelled at the top of his lungs, "No." And all the kids laughed and I just started to feel annoyed. As my mood was starting to shift, less polite now, I said, "Come on, guys, can you just move?" They all started to laugh again. They sounded like a bunch of coyotes cackling. The same little punk that spoke last time spoke again and said in this mocking voice, No. Us guys cannot just move." And the laughter was spreading among all these teens like some sort of virus. I realized that I was getting older when I resorted to saying, "Okay, well, maybe I'll just call the cops and we'll see what they do about this." The punk kid just stared at me with this horrible look. One of the other boys shouted from the back and said, "Yo, man, let's just get out of here." Within seconds, the whole group sort of dispersed, but the last one to leave was that stupid kid who was mocking me, and he ironically blew me a kiss as he ran off with his friends, and I just peeled out of there. I was insanely annoyed at this point, but I was just happy that whole ordeal was over. The night at the bar, I was telling my friends Young man. Brooklyn Gonzalez with the 26 months. Welcome back. Thank you. Your favorite PS2 game? Probably Shadow of the Colossus was... Oh, The Getaway. That was a good one. Twisted Metal. Yeah, I saw they were making a Twisted Metal show. It does not look too exciting. The PS2 was really just like one of those systems that I feel like will forever be, just be goated. Because I feel like it had like infinite games, and they all were like had a possibility of being good. Have you ever read on Wattpad? No. What do you mean, read on Wattpad? What even is Wattpad? The Getaway or Red Dead? Oh yeah, Red Dead Revolver was sick. Was Red Dead Revolver like? Does that tie in like in the timeline with any of the other Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead games? Lovely Tea, thank you for the gifter too. Amapola. Welcome. That night at the bar, I was telling my friends about the encounter, and they all sort of groaned. They processed to tell me. They processed? What the fuck? They proceeded to tell me how much they hated these teenagers. What am I saying? They proceeded to tell me how much they hated the teenagers around that area, and all I could think about was that one song, Teenagers by My Chemical Romance. And we all hung out for a little while, and then I headed home at around midnight. Once I was home, I started getting ready for bed, and my doorbell rang. I stood still for a moment, trying to think that there was any reason why my doorbell would be ringing at this hour of the night. I thought maybe it was one of my friends, but that didn't make sense, since they would have called or texted me. And seconds later, the doorbell rang again. I had all the lights off downstairs, so I felt comfortable sneaking around, knowing that whoever is there wouldn't be able to see me. I looked out the window of the living room, and standing there on my doorstep in the middle of the night was that kid from earlier, and two other kids. Now, my first instinct was to go out there and just give them a piece of my mind, but that's when I noticed it. One of the teenagers standing there was holding a bat behind his back. If this kid had a bat, then the other two must have had something as well. I didn't feel like getting jumped by a bunch of kids, and I did the other thing that I could think of at that moment and just called the police. I just let them deal with this issue. Standing right on the other side of the door, I called the police and left the line on speakerphone as I informed the dispatcher of what was going on. My logic was that these goons would hear me call the police and maybe flee, knowing that I meant business. Oh, I could not have been more wrong, though. Once I hung up with dispatch, the kids started going nuts, claiming that I was a coward and a few other choice words. And then all three of them started to bang on my door with the bats that they were carrying. The kid from earlier took his bat and used it like a pool stick and drove it right through my window of my... That punk kid from earlier took his bat and used it like a pool stick and drove it right through the window of my door. Thankfully, the police showed up right after that, and I saw those kids flee into the night. The cops weren't able to apprehend them, and I just gave my statement and told the officers a description of those teens, the ones that I remember seeing. They told me that they would be on the lookout for them and that they would handle it. I'm not sure if they handled it or if the kids just never came back, because after that night I never saw them again. But I always wondered, though, what were their intentions that night? Did they just want to scare me? Or were they truly some evil kids? Truthfully, I'm happy I don't know that answer. I only stayed at that house for another 5 months before I eventually moved out, and I consider myself lucky in those months. I never saw those teenagers in my area ever again. Stephanie with the 5 says, Jacob wrote this about Natalie. For 13 months my heart has been in constant pain and sadness, but one day we will meet again in heaven. I teared up. One day. Thank you for the 5, Steph. There was this custom pizza place I went to and I got BBQ as the sauce, Mott's cheese, and pot stickers, potatoes, garlic, meatballs, and bacon at the top. Damn, dude. That sounds fucking sick. I feel like I went to a custom pizza place or something before and like, I don't know, the pizzas were super small and it was like it just goes through this like really quick convection oven bullshit, kind of like Subway or whatever. But it just seems like they do like really minimalist toppings. But just from reading that, it sounds like it could potentially be a pretty thick, calorie-dense pizza. Big Bryce in the house. What's good, Bryce? Was that last one a vacay story? It technically it was a staycation, I guess. Whatever. Story 4. Teens are only tough in groups. You gotta single them out. You gotta set traps in your yard. I think I like the anchovies. Once my father got some store-bought sardines and put it on a frozen pizza and I smashed it. Like you just took a bat to it, or like a sledgehammer. Sludge. That'd be a good YouTube channel name, Sludgehammer. Plastic surgery horror stories. Oh god, that'd be terrifying. Pretty much just most plastic surgeries. I don't know. I feel like they have not. I mean, a lot of it looks good, but I feel like all those Botox injections and shit like that, they still have not quite worked out. Not quite worked out. They're bullshit. Oh, the show Botched. Oh, yeah. I'm just curious, like, if I want to look up Gwen Stefani 2023. Is she still... she looks pretty normal. I just remember I was, like, thinking she got some plastic surgery that made her look a little terrifying. I don't know. I feel bad for a lot of, like, Hollywood people. Just because they always feel like they got to go down that route to, like, maintain their youthfulness. Hey, Joel, where you're at, do they put toppings under the cheese? I don't think so. I mean, I've seen some places that do like a red stuffed deep dish style thing, where like it's like pizza and then all the toppings and cheese and stuff, and then another layer of dough, and then on top of that is like the sauce. And it's interesting for sure. A deep thick pizza. Like, I don't know. Food is just, I don't think food's worth eating unless it's like 1,000 calories a bite. Have you seen Wendy Williams recently? Who the hell's Wendy Williams? Oh yeah. She was like it was kind of like Oprah, had like one of those shows. Yeah, geez Louise. Yeah. Well, when the aliens send you back. I love the beach, and I wish I could go more. Last year was the first time in years that I was able to take a trip with my family to a small town on Cape Cod. This was exactly what I needed in my life at the time. I was just feeling depressed. I don't know if it was because of the state of the world or the fact that I had been single for like 5 years at that point, but whatever the reason, I just needed some freedom and peace of mind. My brother's wife's family owned a house that was right on the ocean, and this place was amazing. It was quiet and peaceful. All the houses on the street that they lived on had their own private beach, so you could legitimately go to the beach wherever you wanted. I would wake up at 6 a.m. and drink my coffee on the beach, and then after dinner, I would go down to the beach and just stare at the moon and stars reflecting off the ocean. This was my routine just about every day on that vacation. One night, I went down to the beach a little after 11 p.m. I set up my chair and just listened to the waves crashing. I kept turning around because I thought that I could hear a sound of something shuffling. My first thought was that some sort of animal was digging around in the sand for food. I remember one time visiting this house and I saw a few foxes a few times that lived somewhere near there, so I was thinking maybe it was a fox. I kept squinting into the darkness, but I didn't see anything. It became apparent to me that whatever I was hearing, it was nothing to worry about. The night continued, and periodically I would hear the noise again, and every time I would turn around, I would see nothing. A little before 1 a.m., I headed back inside for a minute to grab a drink and use the bathroom. I planned on staying out there for this one last... That's a weird sentence. Jacob with the 5 says, tonight, I'm very sad because as I reflect on my cousin Natalie's life, she was a good person. I miss her a lot. She's been dead for 13 months now. Jacob, is your profile picture Triple H as like a negative image? Like where it's like you like reverse the image, you know what I mean? Color-wise. Raphael, what's going on, dude? But thank you for the 5, Jacob. Oh yeah, inverted. Inverted is what I was looking for. A little before 1 a.m., I headed back inside for a minute to grab a drink and use the bathroom, as I planned on staying out there for this one last beer. When I got back to my chair outside, I felt like the chair had moved slightly, but I couldn't be sure. I sat down anyways and tried to focus on the beauty of just nature itself, the moon and the ocean, but something just kept nagging at me. I'm not one to give in to my emotions or anything like that, but I did feel off for some reason. I remained outside for probably another 15 minutes or so, and during that time, I heard that weird shuffling noise at least 2 more times. I decided it was finally enough, and I was going to go inside and just try to go to bed. I grabbed my chair and started walking toward the house. When I was only about 15 feet away from the back door, I noticed that there were footprints in the sand, and they led from a sort of sand dune pile to the house. I knew for a fact that these footprints didn't belong to me or anyone in my family. The footprints stopped short of the house, and they looked like they turned around and ran back to the beach. And my mind started running wild. I started to think about the weird noises that I had heard that night. I couldn't shake the idea that whatever I had heard was possibly a person. And then I had the crazy thought that when I went inside to grab a drink, that's when the person made their way to the house and then must have noticed me coming back, so they turned around. I freaked myself out, and now I really couldn't relax. I was paranoid that the person was outside. Fuck. How's the COVID situation where you guys live? I think it's over forever. I mean, it sort of just exists as like a seasonal, up and down type thing. Sort of like the flu. My state of mind, my habitat. What type of mask do you use, Ferry? Because the only thing, as far as respiration. What? Yeah. As far as because it's not going to prevent stuff from going in, but I think the N95? Those are pretty decent for that. Did you crack your neck? No, I had a big knuckle crack. Can you crack your neck? I cannot now. Oh, the N95. Okay, yeah. I guess that makes sense. I still see people wear at like the grocery store and shit wearing like cloth masks, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I can like if you have one on and maybe you're like sick, but even like a cloth one's like not really going to prevent spreading to like other people. Like it might mitigate a degree of like expenditure of like your, you know, respiratory crap out to other people, but it's certainly not going to stop anything from going in, if that's what you're worried about. And most of the time it happens from whenever you're like sitting there like rubbing your eyes and shit, because it enters through like your mucous membranes and all that kind of crap. You can crack so many bones. Hell yeah, dude. Jacob with the 5. Yeah, it's Triple H with the badass green eyes. I found that from his 2000 entrance video. It was modified from 2002 to late 2006. I might change my picture. Nice, dude. Yeah, Triple H is pretty fucking badass, to be honest. Every time you like send a GIF or a GIF file in response to my tweets, I feel like I get a better 3D image of what Triple H truly is, which is a beast. Use a lot of hand sanitizer still. Yeah, there was also like some, I don't want to give you information. Well, the only fear about the hand sanitizer is sometimes its effect on like the microbiome of like your hand, because sometimes that sort of stuff within your skin is also beneficial from protecting whatever might permeate or at least exist on the hand. So sometimes I think like just normal hand washing is usually the most beneficial in that scenario, if that's what you're concerned about. I get flagged for misinformation. I mean, I'm not trying to, but I do dislike that, like, for the past 3 fucking years, we just can't even have a conversation about it out of fear of, you know, some sort of, either it's becoming a divisive conversation or just like a, you know, some other bullshit. Just stupid, you know? Out of fear of offend. Well, I don't really think it's like an offend. I mean, even though there are some weirdos who honestly get offended by it, which doesn't make any sense, because if you're talking about like something scientific, that was the annoying thing, is that like, did you notice that with the COVID narrative? It was like they were dishing out information about it for like 2 weeks, and then at that point it was just like a free-for-all, where there was no clear information, like kind of, even though it was still like nonstop in the news, you know what I mean? But there was never like a clear indication of its origins. There was never like a clear indication of whether it was this, and then if they told you this, it changed that, and then it changed that. It was just like constantly kept changing. I'm like, what the fuck? But then the entire way along the way, there was so many people so confident that they knew the answers to everything, and it was just like, I don't know, man. There was a lot of bullshit that went on during that. It's not great, I feel like, for the public perception of like government entities, you know what I mean, and kind of erodes their trust. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't want to get you guys into that shit, because honestly it will just lead you in a fucking, probably an argument, and it's not fun. I was paranoid that a person was outside the house, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to wake anyone up because, for all I know, I was being crazy and nobody was out there. I triple-checked that all the locks were locked, and I sat up in the living room watching Disney Plus all night. I started binge-watching the Marvel movies just to try to get my mind off the paranoia of someone outside the house. At some point, I fell asleep and woke up a while later because of the TV. I turned the TV off, feeling much better than I did a little earlier. I was lying on the couch, now in complete silence. I was just about to slip away back to sleep when I thought I heard something. I listened for a second, and I thought that I could hear the sound of a doorknob. I grabbed my phone and shone the flashlight at the door. The doorknob was shaking back and forth, and this was undeniable. I quietly walked over to the door and looked through the peephole. It was a man, and he was wearing something on his head, maybe a hood, and he was just standing there trying to turn the doorknob. The scariest thing about this, though, was that he seemed to be looking directly at the peephole. He obviously would have no idea that I was looking at him, and yet it was almost as if though he were making direct eye contact with me. I quietly ran back to the couch and decided to phone the police. As I was searching the couch cushions for my phone, I looked back and the doorknob wasn't shaking anymore. Before I could feel any comfort, though, it was instantly ripped away when I looked over to the window, and now what was very clearly a man was looking through the window with cupped hands. I could feel myself trembling. The man was only there for a second, and then he walked away. I called the police and told them what happened, and then I immediately woke up my family. I told the cops everything, and I remember the cops being in that area for the next few days until we eventually left. From what I understand, they were never able to get this guy. Some people in this world are just nuts, I guess, and do things for the sake of doing them. We didn't know this guy, and he had no reason to break into our house, but he still tried. I never went back to the ocean after sunset on that trip, and going forward, I still have no desire to visit that beach after sunset. What? Jacob with the 10 says Triple H is my favorite wrestler because I grew up with Triple H. He was in DX, and then I grew up watching Triple H winning 14 WWE championships. He retired in 2022 due to his heart condition. Damn. Yeah, sadly, those steroids will take its toll on your heart over time. Can I do a Nick Cage impression, por favor? Nick Cage. I'm a vampire. I am a vampire. I am a vampire. I don't really think I can do like Nick Cage. All right. We gotta steal. I can kind of... Alright, let's hear his voice. Let's hear his fucking voice. Nick Cage voice. Why did Nicolas Cage change his name? I changed my name. I can't really do it. I just... Like, normally I can, like, feel if my, like, vocal cords can, like, reach a person, you know what I mean, by listening to them. Fast times at Ridgemont High. And I was still Nicholas Copel, and people would not stop. But I don't know, we just don't have the same, you know, type of range, I guess, you know what I mean? What's my favorite cartoon? Probably the Batman animated series growing up. That shit was fucking fire. That sounds like Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, yeah, what's... Alright, I am a human, and I am human. I'm not a lizard. I'm not a lizard. You can sing like Patsy Cline. Who the hell's Patsy Cline? Patsy Cline. I don't know why that just like... Holy shit, what year is this from? 1961. Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, I like this. Dude, these old time shit is so good. Oh. Wow. Crazy for feeling. Whoa. So lonely. Dude, people's voices were just... I think they were better back then. Do people put Chipotle powder in their mac and cheese? I hope so. It sounds pretty yummy. Remember, what was that band? Was it the Flamingos? Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, dude, the fucking Flamingos. Do you know the Flamingos? So, in the game The Darkness, I think it was, If you ever get a chance and you have like an old Xbox or maybe it's on PC or something, play The Darkness, because it's just so much fun. You have like tentacles on your back, you have guns, it just makes you feel like a fucking god. And at the end of it, he's obsessed with his girlfriend and trying to get his girlfriend, back from the dead or some shit, or go get to her or whatever. And like at the end, there's like different endings, and one of them is by the Flamingos, I Only Have Eyes for You. My love must be a kind love. What's my opinion on weed? Weed is something you should do in moderation. You shouldn't make a lifestyle out of it, because it can just, I don't know, it takes its toll on people, kind of kills their motivations to like change their life sometimes. And it can oftentimes, I think those people tend to fall into a bit of a dependence on it, and a bit of a degree of depression is associated with that. So I would just, use weed for fun, but don't let it become a crutch. Otherwise it can, I don't know, take its toll on you over time. Papa Meat impression. Double wide surprise. What? Ouch. That hurt. I feel like I always need to hear people before I do it. Arthur Morgan impression with the
Dutch. Yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. Triple H is the best wrestler in the whole world, I'd say.
I've been watching scary videos tonight. I don't know if we would have time, unless we blaze through these, which it seems like we kind of are doing. Scum it up. I only have eyes. I can't sing. I'm sorry. I wish someone would teach me how to sing. I would like to. Can I do a Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton. Yeah. What's Bill Clinton say? Do a Bill Clinton impression? Well, I did not have sexual relations with that lady, and I did not go to Epstein's Island. I promise. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it tonight. Have you seen Fantastic Mr. Fox? I think I've seen bits and pieces of it. Robert De Niro. Let's hear Robert's voice. I'm like, when it comes to impressions, I honestly generally just feel like a 6 out of 10 impressionist. Like, it just never quite, I'm never like, I guess you just need to like do the voice enough and repetitiously to like know where you're at. Look at the size of that trunk. Put 3 bodies in there. I don't know. Every time I do it, it always just sounds like my fucking voice, but attempting to be some other person. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of times where I can like hear a voice and just immediately know that I'm not going to be able to like hit wherever that is. Would I ever do stand-up comedy? I'd like to. I think it'd be fun. The only problem Gilbert fucking Godfrey. The only problem is that like, I think of funny shit all the time. I think of funny riffs, ideas, skits, bullshits, plimity blips, all that crap, you know what I mean? But like, thinking of funny stuff, saying it kind of off the cuff, like, sometimes that to me just, maybe that's what I should go for, is like, how do I emulate my off the cuff self? You know what I mean? In a stand-up form where you can replicate it, because sometimes it's way more easy to sort of say, how like sometimes you listen to a podcaster, they're really funny in the podcast, like off the cuff, kind of riffing with somebody, versus their actual stand-up comedy. And that's kind of how I imagine, like, I mean, I'm not fucking Theo Von funny or anything like that, or all those guys kind of funny, not even their like lowest common denominator type funny, but I imagine that if I went to do stand-up comedy, I would really, really have to like take time to like hone in my craft of just trying to be a certain person up there, because I noticed like I'll write jokes down and I'll try to like emulate it, and it just doesn't quite, like there's so much importance to the way you say something versus just the shit that you say, you know what I mean? Patrick Hunt, welcome to the Buttersock Cult, my friend. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. And Jacob Bowling with the 5 says, don't get me wrong, Stone Cold was awesome.
Hell yeah, brother.
But he only won 6 WWE championships. Triple H has won 14. So in my opinion, Triple H is better. Yeah, I remember growing up like seeing kind of wrestling tangentially, and I was like, Triple H was always at the top nonstop, it seemed like. Be a rapper instead, would just be everything. Claire with the 2. By the way, I'm canceling Matt Rife on my side. He scammed. What? He scammed you? Who'd he scam? Thank God we finally found a reason to hate him. That's how it works. You find somebody that's too good looking, too successful. Did he pull off a mask or something? He actually was Squidward.
Double wide surprise. Oh, fuck.
Matt Ray freaks me out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not just... You're conversationally funny, not performance funny. Exactly. But I think the thing is that, like, conversationally funny, like, of course you're going to hear me there. But performance funny is a type of thing where, like, each performance is its own little thing. You know what I mean? So if you told me to just like recite the lines from, you know, Back Alley Barstool Beat 'em Up, which is like a made up play I have in my head right now. You know, you gotta like hone in that performance. You can't just be like, you know, Chris Farley or fucking George Carlin. You know, because George Carlin's stand up, if you notice, like that in itself is like an act. It's like it was like wordplay. You know what I mean? Most of the time, it like didn't have any. It felt natural, but in and of itself, it was like he was taking you on a little like Disney adventure with his words, which is almost more impressive. But that in and of itself wasn't just like, it had no like, you know, riffing energy to it. Like it was, you know, practiced and parsed out and you know, done repetitiously again and again till he got it perfectly. Now granted, that might have been a sort of natural tendency to his just mannerisms and personality, but he clearly put it down on paper and then practiced and then practiced and then practiced and then practiced. And I think that's the important thing about stand-up comedy, is you really do gotta like understand what it feels like to say a successful joke and then replicate that energy, you know what I mean? And it's not just gonna be like making people laugh over the computer or with your friends. It's like it really is like a, you know, a little song and dance. Yeah, but what does that have to do with anxiety? Wait, what are you talking about? The World, he just revealed his 22-year-old Los Angeles blonde boobless girlfriend after he sold out all shows. She is on tour with... Oh, word. See, that's the thing, is like if you're like some sort of heartthrob, you can't tell all the people that are swooning over it. Well, maybe, you know what that might mean? Maybe he'll actually have to be funny now instead of just, you know, constantly leaning on his sexuality to appeal to large masses of TikTokers. Not aiming that at anybody. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty clear that, like, you know, the possibility of being able to like suck Matt Rife off in the backstage at the end of the show was one of the reasons he sold tickets. You know what I mean? Like some bitch came up to him, fucking got him like a Build-A-Bear. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck's that shit about? Where's my fucking Build-A-Bear? Where the fuck is my Build-A-Bear? I'm waiting. Maybe I'll do a fucking P.O. box just for that. And you better not stuff that Build-A-Bear with feces and fucking glitter. I swear to God. What's one of your favorite hip-hop verses? Give us a little squample. The year is 3030. Or what's the one? She just bleached her asshole. Remember that from Kanye West? If she get bleached on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole. Thoughts on Andrew Tate? I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about it. Like, Andrew Tate's a weird type of character where, like, he does things that apparently are illegal, like in the realm of running that, like, cam girl website, and then, you know, potentially human trafficking, I guess. That's just like what I heard. I don't know the full story. I haven't really dug into it or cared that much, but at the same time, like, you'll see random little tidbits of him, like, trying to give advice to people on, like, stuff like, you got to get out there and do boxing, get off your ass, you know what I mean? And it's like anybody can be, can do devilish things and also, inspire you, I guess, in some way. It's kind of like, I just think people need to be able to, like, have the nuanced ability to kind of, like, pick the gold out from the dirt, But it seems as if, though, I mean, is he under arrest? Isn't he under arrest for his human trafficking or something of that kind of thing? Oh, Andrew Tate from Let's Not Meet, yeah. No, I feel bad for the guy, Let's Not Meet Andrew Tate, because he gets DMs all the time of, like, people saying, like, no, I know that you're Andrew Tate, and you're a piece of crap. I know it's you. You have the same name, and therefore you must be yelled at via direct message. On house arrest in Romania. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, I don't really give a shit enough about, like, to me, him as a character, like, there's so many characters to me that, like, in 2014, 2013, they would hold no, like, excitement within the zeitgeist, the cultural energy of the time. You know what I mean? Like, the sort of, like, because sometimes Andrew Tate, the human trafficking guy, he sort of has, like, this, like, let me give young men advice type of guru type vibe, you know what I mean? Same with, like, the Jordan Peterson characters. Now, obviously, they're two separate human beings and stuff like that, but, like, and maybe that is something that people are looking for, but it's so fascinating to me, because it's like, you go back to, like, 2013, go back to 2012, 2013, 2014, like, prior to the lead up to the election, and just how the general energy of the time, that was back when we were, like, it was Grand Theft Auto 5, it was Key and Peele, you know what I mean? It was, like, comedy, the idea of canceling somebody, like, you really had to fuck up to do it. So I feel like the energy of the culture was not so, like, divisive. It was not so, like, left versus right all the time about everything. And to me, characters like the Jordan Petersons who blew up, in the 2016 era, characters like Andrew Tate who blew up later, they would be, like, in my mind, like, irrelevant, you know what I mean, to the energies of those times, because I just feel like people didn't really care or find controversial individuals that, like, tried to talk about clinical psychology or fucking dating advice. They would find it almost, like, cringy back then. I don't know if you guys remember that type of era, but back then that kind of stuff was, like, sort of boring or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, same with, like, the Joe Rogan stuff. Like, I mean, him just, like, talking about monkeys and, generic political ideas and hunting and MMA, like, I just don't, like, until, like, the massive, political divisive energy that appeared post 2016, I just feel like those individuals, for the most part, didn't have the marketability that they do now, you know what I mean? And I think it's because so many people are so caught up in that, like, sort of Streisand effect, where it's like people say it's bad, so therefore they feel inclined to be pulled towards it, even more so in building up the base and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like in, The Boys. Have you seen the show with The Boys with Homelander and stuff? They tell like Homelander that you don't need to be loved by everyone. You can have 50% of your population, 50% of the population despise you, but that just means that the other 50% loves you or something like that, just because of that sort of natural. To me, it just seems like a really big marketing tactic, and I almost wonder, like, if we look back, reflectively upon this era, if like half the sense of division that you feel right now is mainly just to go get you to buy more shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels as if though everyone's being tricked in some weird way to thinking that things are way more important or more exciting than they actually are. Eat my TARDIS with the big 20, thank you. You done messed up, AA Ron. I'm late to the party, thank you. Yeah, dude, the Key and Peele skits are so fucking funny. So what is missing in modern people's lives is that they need 50% of people to love them. No, not you as a modern person, but the people that want to manipulate you to make money. There's and you don't even realize it. That's the thing, is that if there's anybody in the cultural zeitgeist, I like to use that word a lot because it's fun and it sounds cool, but it definitely envelops that. But like, they see an opportunity. They see an aspect of the market that's missing something, but they know that sometimes the best way to market themselves, because what's worse? What's worse than being hated? Ask yourself this. What's worse than being hated? Being irrelevant. Being irrelevant. You know what I mean? Because if you're irrelevant, nobody's going to see your shit. But if you're hated by a bunch of dipshits on Twitter, that's fucking fine, because their opinions don't matter, and you're still getting paid by the people that think that they're fighting against the dipshits on Twitter somehow by filling your pockets, I guess. I don't know. None of it, like, it's just a big psychological experiment on your brain, Alright, anyways. I never went back to that ocean after sunset on that trip, and going forward, I have no desire to visit that beach after sundown. I'm supposed to be returning to that Cape Cod house again this summer. I'm a little scared, but I think the chances of encountering this creep are slim to none. If anything crazy happens, I'll be sure to write an update and let everyone know that I'm okay and safe. Am I clapping while talking? Listen to me when I tell you that the people online that make you mad are just there to keep your eyes on the screen. They want you looking at the television forever. They don't want you to go outside. They don't want you to touch grass. They want to sell you shit. Remember us when you escape the Matrix. I'll do my best. What if, dude, if the feeling of escaping the Matrix is like the best feeling ever. Not that I've done it, but like the where you can actually experience that sort of sensation, like, oh, fuck yeah. I feel like is when you die, right? Because when you die, like, either nothing exists or you're like, oh, okay, all that was for something, I guess. Or you come out of a dream, dude. Did you ever get out of a dream and it's like the worst dream ever? You like didn't do your homework or some shit, or like, you're being shot or you're being chased or something of that nature, and then all of a sudden you get out of the dream and you're like, huh? Oh, none of that's fucking true. We're good. Dr. Octavius, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult, my friend. Access to bonus content. They don't want you to take psychedelics. I am curious though. Like, do we really need psychedelics and things like that to sort of have like revelations of the mind? Don't you think like just hearing somebody tell you about something revelatory, as long as you have an open mind, might lead you to that sort of revelation itself, My ex called me Jason Stackhouse for the longest time because I'm just dumb and naive, but at least Jason was good looking. Exactly. There's a lot of power in being good looking, you know? The cool thing about being good looking is that, like, you just don't have to try, you know? You just show up and people treat you better. They, you know, you don't have to earn their... Like, you do have to be a respectful person, otherwise you're going to find yourself in a scenario where you're disliked, you know, even more so than your good-looking self. I'm sure there's a degree of ratio there, but, yeah, you know, just being good-looking, you just sort of exist, and things are just sort of, like, placed, you know, people just, you know, it's like an icebreaker in itself. Like, someone sees you, and you don't need to have anything in fucking common. You just, they look at you, and you're like, hey, I'd like to sit on your face. And you're like, cool. You want to get coffee? Joel's the greatest narrator alive today. Let's go. Psychedelics turn a lot of psych meds, though. Really? Which ones? They use components of psychedelics and psych meds. Yeah, I'm curious which, because I mean, they kind of like break down the compounds. I mean, or at least pharmaceutically. If that is true, just let me know. I'm curious. Nice to catch you live. Yeah, what's up, Becca? What is good looking? I guess it's subjective to the person, but there tends to be like certain characteristics of people's faces. Am I good looking? Wouldn't you like to know? But I'm, you know, just speaking from sort of observational standpoints, because, like, most of the time, good-looking people, I feel like, don't even realize that they're good-looking, or they you know, it's like, if they do a sense of, like, self-reflection upon their, like, attractiveness, they either get bored of it, I guess, or they just never really take the time to really, or maybe they become sociopathic with it, where they just use it to their advantage to such an extent that it becomes second nature, and they just sort of expect it to be things to be handed to them, or people to give them attention and that kind of thing. Isn't there more to life than being really, 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 really ridiculously good looking? That'd be a fun position to be in, though. Listen to my vids every night. Thank you, Becca. There are no visuals for morning glories and the side effects are horrid. What are those? I've never even heard of that. I can be good looking after taking a shower and combing my hair and doing good stuff for myself. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Take showers. Take showers. They are good for you. They kick ass and they feel great. Blue Steel. I think I have the black lung. This is a really weird and strange story that happened a few years back. It's not the scariest thing in the world, but due to its strange nature, it definitely was unsettling, to say the least. I ended up going on a vacation with a buddy of mine. Well, I use the word vacation loosely. When I think of vacation, I think of maybe hiking and camping, and I know most people usually think of beaches or pools. I went with my friend Colin, who was one of my newer friends. It's actually really funny how we became friends. I hated him at first. We worked at the same place and we both liked the same girl. We both would flirt with her constantly and she would string us both along. I talked a lot behind his back and he talked a lot about me behind mine. Well, the joke was on us because she ended up ditching both of us for some other guy. But because of this, though, he and I got talking one day and we ended up discovering that we had a lot in common. It didn't take long for Colin and me to start hanging out all the time. When I tell you that we had the same exact interests, I mean exactly the same. We both even liked the Tennessee Titans, even though we lived in Pennsylvania. One day, he and I got talking about taking a trip to the mountains and just hiking, getting away for a while and taking a vacation away from reality. We found a great place to hike, and there was a town nearby that we stayed in. Colin did a bunch of research and found some awesome trails. One day, not the Titans. Is what's his name coming back for Tennessee. Derrick Henry, is he... Let's look up what's Derrick Henry's up to. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry will be ready to do his part when Titans kick off 2023 season. Hell yeah, dude. Is he not starting or something? Well, he's doing his part. I guess that's all that matters. We'll see. It's so sad, like, in the NFL, just, like, how short-lived the career of an athlete really is. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, if you make some really crazy good money, obviously that's going to be useful for many, many years down the road. But it's just, not all of them really end up with those, like, huge deals, you know? Or, like, even last in the league longer than 3 years. 3 to 5 years, maybe. I don't know. Root beer. One day we started a long hike that was going to take us most of the day to complete. About an hour in, we heard something. We turned around and a very strange and short man was power walking by us. His arms were in full swing and he just swooped by. He was wearing this shirt that was like a windbreaker material. Sam, you saw the new Insidious? Not bad? Nice, dude. That's a not bad out of 10. I'm gonna watch the Barbie movie. You know, I didn't see any trailers or anything like that. I'm not like a huge Ryan Gosling fan. Not that I dislike him, I just like kind of indifferent towards his existence, you know, because he doesn't really know how to act. He just sort of like, I don't know, he's sort of like a robot of sorts, like an actual android. Be kind of cool if we find out eventually that like some celebrities are androids, just made to entertain. Tiptoe through the tulips. Ooh. The new Insidious wasn't a bad movie, but it was so light I expected more from that movie. Interesting. Ryan Gosling is a clone. You know, I think he might be a clone because I swear to God, like, he has not changed in how he looks or how he even really presents himself as an actor. You know what I mean? I understand, like, as an actor, you really are only about as much your acting identity as like the parts that you allow yourself to take. And it seems as if though, like, he's, you know, you look at Matthew McConaughey, he was like the stud, blah blah blah, and I know that there was probably like a fluke in the Matrix to eventually allow him to actually star in like, you know, pretty involved roles. Not saying that he's really deviated too far from the Matthew McConaughey persona per se, but he's still done like some pretty serious roles now. And but it seems like Ryan G just hasn't really ever like challenged himself to, and maybe I'm wrong, but I mean I get it. He was in fucking the Android, you know, the Blade Runner bullshit, and he's doing method acting. He's doing the Zuckerberg acting method. Ryan Gosling played such a different character in this movie called Lars and the Real Girl, and it was actually pretty interesting. Okay. Maybe I just haven't kept up with him to give him a fair shake. You think you captured evidence of paranormal activity? Oh shit, dude, what happened? Well, also, like, yeah, the fact that, like, Ryan Gosling is, like, considered hot, I don't really know why. Like, I look at his face, and I don't really look at his face as being, like, an attractive face, you know what I mean? Like, that it's not a bad face, but if it's just, like, sitting there kind of, like, resting bitch face style type thing that most hot people were kind of, like, they normally do, he doesn't really have, like a hot dude. Yeah, and his face is a little bit uneven. Well, yeah, he's better looking than Pete Davidson, but I think Pete Davidson's once again a manifestation of the hive mind thinking that often, accompanies like certain trends. You know what I mean? Like, people get on a trend because everyone likes it. You know what I mean? People were on, Pete Davidson's dick because he got like one blowjob from fucking Kim Kardashian, and then everyone was like, oh, I would also like to suck his weird, meth head dick too, and but they don't, nobody takes a second to kind of like, in the alone time in their room, like, really just take, like, if you were writing in a fucking journal by yourself, you get the blanket over your head, maybe like your little flashlight out, and you're writing, like, imagine like I feel like, yeah, like if you were writing in your journal, like, oh, Pete Davidson, like, when you're by yourself, like, do you not, it's gotta be like a little bit of a gag comes out, you're like, oh God, why did I just, oh, because he's disgusting, that's why, that makes sense, that's why I thought that. I was so enamored by what everybody else was thinking around my group that I just couldn't. The post-nut clarity, God. I'm sorry, I'm being mean. But, yeah, Ryan Gosling's definitely better looking than him, though, for sure. He was wearing the shirt that was like a windbreaker material, so he was super loud as he passed us. We both laughed because this just looked really absurd. The only way I can describe this guy is that he reminded me of like a cartoon character or something. Another few hours went by and I completely forgot about the guy. As we continued walking, Colin gasped. His sudden panic freaked me out, so I asked what was wrong. He didn't say anything, and he just pointed. In some of the thick bushes that lined this part of the path was the man's windbreaker shirt. I admit I laughed when I saw it. In my mind, I was thinking to myself, what the heck is this dude doing? But Colin had a completely different idea. Because of how the shirt was ripped and thrown into the bushes, he expected the worst. We talked it out for a few minutes, and Colin decided that he wanted to call it in. Due to where we were now, we had no cell service whatsoever. We were about halfway, so I told Colin that we should just finish the hike with some pep in our step and keep checking our phones to see if we get service. He agreed, and we started to move quickly along the trail. Probably 20 minutes after discovering the shirt, we could hear a noise. We both paused and tried to focus on the sound. Within seconds, it was clear. It was the sound of running. As we looked up, we see the strange man from before, but now he was running towards us at full speed. We both kind of went into a defensive position, not really knowing what was going on. As he closed in on us, he kept yelling something like, "I'm gonna get ya! I'm gonna get ya!" And he just kept saying it. When he was really close, I was ready to start swinging if I needed to. But he just ran right by us. As he started to fade into the distance, we just hear the echo of his voice for a few more minutes. We both just started to burst out laughing how outrageous this was. We decided to walk back the way we came and follow the path of this insane guy. Our logic was that we were going. Keep getting Pete Davidson Manscaped commercial, and goddamn, I want it to go away. Yeah, I don't know what did he do? What did he do other than other than date somehow? They probably just went to he probably was like one of those celebrities, like drug dealers. It's like whenever a drug dealer gets like way too hot of a girlfriend, it's because he's probably providing them with something, you know what I mean? And then everybody else saw it and they're like, oh, I want whatever she's on that makes her like Pete Davidson for whatever fucking reason. He must got the good shit, you know? Don't mess with the Zohan. Holy fuck. Yeah, see, now Zohan, in my opinion, is the peak of physical male condition. You think it was a planned celebrity? I think it started out, like, organically. But yeah, I do remember hearing that, like, some celebrities were coordinating with their agents to like date Pete Davidson for like 3 minutes just to get like his scent on them for a little bit, and then, you know, circulate in the media. Who do you think is attractive male actor? Hey, Destroyer Lynn, with the 5 gifters to Rafael Pineda, El Meco, Sam Pie, Hanny Dreams, and YR. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate you. You all have now access to bonus content. He was on SNL. Young people watching SNL. Young people don't watch SNL. Young people watch fucking memes and YouTube creators and like content bullshit. There's like weird millennials who watch SNL, dude. I think SNL is at its like lowest ratings of all time, to be honest. And it's and just quality wise, I haven't seen like a funny one in forever. The old episodes, I remember they used to replay on fucking Comedy Central and shit. Those were pretty awesome. You know, they weren't always the best, but like sometimes they'd hit you with a good one. Oh yeah, Pedro Pascal's a good-looking guy. Yeah, I'm trying to think who's just good fucking looking. Just name. You gotta name somebody. If you name somebody, I'll be able to think in my head and be like, yeah, for sure. Our logic was that we were being good people by making sure this man made it out of the forest without hurting himself. When we were probably about an hour away from the trailhead, we were suddenly stopped by that strange man. He seemed to jump down from a tree and was now standing right in front of us, waving around this thick tree branch. Colin tried pleading with this weirdo, but he still kept saying, "I'm gonna get ya! I'm gonna get ya!" I started to feel tense just standing there with this guy because I didn't know what to do. Clearly this guy wasn't right, so I didn't want to hurt him. But the flip side of that is that this guy was ready to hurt us, it seemed like. The shirtless guy then swung the tree branch and hit Colin in the arm and ran through us again, still shouting. And as he ran away, I noticed in the waistband of his pants was the grip handle of what looked like some kind of hunting knife. I told Colin that we needed to go because I didn't want to encounter this creep anymore. It was only a matter of time before he introduced us to that knife, and that was something I did not want to experience on my vacation. We basically ran back, and as soon as we hit the road, Colin called the park ranger and told her everything that had just did. Whoops. Alright, let's analyze the list of hot people here. Ryan Reynolds, yes. Henry Cavill, yes. Sebastian Stan, don't know him. Matt Rife, no. No, I'm just kidding. He is good looking, but he can't be good looking and funny. George Clooney, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen him in forever and don't really care. Dave Franco? Oh, is that what's Franco's younger something? Andrew Taylor Johnson grew up himself. I don't know that name. Maybe I'll write. I can't even copy, paste. Andrew Taylor Johnson. He looks familiar. He definitely is, you know, when he's shaving, he looks like that Chalamet kid. The husk of Chalamet. Not an actor, but David Beckham. John Leguizamo. Yeah, I like Luigi. Keanu. Can't go wrong with Keanu. Rob Schneider's the sexiest man alive. Damn right. Danny DeVito is the peak of male masculinity and hotness. Yeah, James Franco, like the Franco bros, they just have like a good smile. You know, like sometimes I feel like people who smile and like when they smile, they just like naturally squint when they do that. That's just like that's like the model look, you know what I mean? Sam Pie wants to bang Andrew Tate. I don't blame him. Paul Rudd. Oh yeah, Paul Rudd. Let's go, dude. He's got that squinty smile, you know? Tom Hardy. Yeah, Tom Hardy's a good looking guy. Matt Walsh? Who's Matt Walsh? Danny DeVito. Seb Stan. I've never heard of Matt Walsh here. Let me look him up. Oh, he's got a nice beard. Looks kind of like a nerd, though, I guess. Cillian Murphy. Yeah, Cillian Murphy's got a lot going on for him, I think. Cillian Murphy's just sort of like that. Like, he could be emaciated or he could be built, but he's, you know, he just has that, like, face that carries him pretty far. Jensen Ackles, yeah, Jensen Ackles, much better looking than Matt Rife. Oscar Isaac, good looking guy. I guess that's kind of like makes sense anyways, because you just need to be good looking to be in Hollywood anyways. Gene Wilder, hell yeah, dude. That guy Joel from Let's Read, total fucking hottie badotty. Oh, it's actually pronounced Killian? Oh, I thought it was Cillian Murphy. Steve-O when he was at the peak of his PCP usage, exactly. When he was unkillable. Evan Peters. Never heard of that guy. Let me look him. Let's stare at his face. Let's go stare at people's faces. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of... Like, this guy's like a step above Pete Davidson, and I would say he's a better actor for sure, but he definitely looks like in an alternate reality he's a dealer. He's living in a trap house somewhere. Burt Reynolds. You either have to be good looking or overweight and funny. Exactly, you know, you can't have the best of both worlds. People see right through that shit. It's like you don't trust a skinny chef, and you don't trust a good-looking comedian. Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder, hell yeah. Yeah, Ben Stiller's, I mean, like, all of his movies, he always stayed in some pretty damn good shape. Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage is good looking. Peter Dinklage. Yeah, he's rocking that goatee. Nicholas Hoult. Who in the world? How far am I in SPN? What's that? Oh yeah, this guy. What the fuck? Yeah, what's he been in? Like superhero bullshit? Oh yeah, wasn't he the young Mr. Beast or no? No, Beast from X-Men or some shit. Oh, Supernatural. I think I only made it, like, we were watching it at my friend's place in Florida, and I think we made it like 5 or 6 episodes in. I would definitely watch it again, like, but it's one of those shows I feel like I need to watch it with people just to, like, comment on it. It's not something I'm, you know, gonna get pulled into individually. Daniel Day-Lewis is the butcher. Yeah, dude, Daniel Day-Lewis, man, he just goes hard. He is one of the best actors of all time, I will say. Alright, anyways. Hottest actresses. Sure. Lay him out there. Margot Robbie is... yeah, you know, people talk about Margot Robbie. I mean, she is beautiful, you know. But I think it's weird. Like, you see so many beautiful people all the time that eventually you just, like... it becomes not beautiful. Because you just get so... And I think that's why being beautiful is what it is because it's, like, rare. But then in the world of, like, beautiful people, it's, like... how do you feel anything towards them whenever at that point you almost have like specific nuance that you desire or like even consider. Yeah, Zendaya, Jenna Ortega, they're beautiful. Alyssa Milano? Who the fuck? Let me look at her. She looks familiar. I feel like she was on like a show on like the WB or some shit like way back in the day. Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't heard of I used to feel like I couldn't go a fucking day without hearing about Zendaya. And then now it's like all you don't really hear about her as much. Dark Angel. Oh, Charmed. That's right. Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh yeah, she was in the Vitch. The VVITCH Vitch. Lindsay Lohan, hell yeah. She's my kind of gal. We basically ran back, and as soon as we hit the road, We basically ran back, and as soon as we hit the road, Colin called the park ranger and told her everything that we had just experienced. She sighed and said that this was the third call that they had got this week about a strange man running around in the woods, but they haven't been able to track this guy down. And it wasn't until months later that I was home and thinking about this day where I was really thinking about how creepy and messed up it was. The idea of some mentally deranged dude just running around the woods with a knife is not a comforting idea. I hope they caught the guy because it's clear that he needs help. It may have been an unsettling occurrence, but it's for sure one vacation that I'll never forget. Earthworms. Yeah, just earthworms in general. If you just hold them in your fingers, wriggling around. So hot. Melissa Joan Hart. Isn't that from Nickelodeon? Oh, dude, remember who was Justin Timberlake's wife? Melissa Joan. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, she had Clarissa. Clitoris explains it all. Raw and wriggling. Laugh. If they ain't over 80, they ain't having my baby. Because then, if they do, you can be like, it was a miracle. Jessica Biel, dude. Remember Jessica Biel in fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Damn, dude. Whatever happened to her? Oh, dude, remember... just keep talking about girls. Remember this one that made you give you a boner? Remember this one? From Austin Powers. Who was the chick from Austin Powers?
Yeah. Fucking sweet, dude. Chicks, man.
Fucking hot babes. Yeah, what's her name? Vanessa Kensington. Wait. Who played Vanessa Kensington? Elizabeth Hurley. Holy shit, what happened to... She's 58. Is she still hot? Alright, I need you guys to leave the room. I need you guys to turn the stream off. I'll be right back. Just kidding. Elizabeth Hurley. Wow. What a freaking baber. That was my keyboard. Simping time. I'm going to join Elizabeth Hurley's OnlyFans. Did you ever, like, I feel like sometimes, you know, like, hot people can kind of be intimidating, right? But I feel like sometimes people get so hot that it's almost like you just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, they get so hot that you could just, like, hang out with them all day and, like, never feel, like, an ounce of, like, uncertainty around them, because it's just, like, it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like, there's really nothing I'm pulling out of this one, so I'm just gonna go fucking full bar. This is myself. And for some reason I feel like it still might have a chance at working. Dude, if my farts sound like that, man, I'm tight. How you feel what Amber Heard? Dude, yeah, that shit was fucked, man. She seems like she pulls a lot of dick in fucking Hollywood, though. Like, how the fuck did... Like, I swear to God, everyone's dated Amber Heard. And maybe, once again, she's just the hookup for the cocaine. But... I don't know, I feel like everyone's been, you know... It's like a rite of passage. I mean, she is pretty. But then you just... Then she puts a vex on you. A little vex. Yeah, even Elon went for it. Elon's been with like 50... Has like 50 baby mamas. It's strange, honestly. It's like, bro, just chill. Go do... How do you even find time? Like... Going to Mars and shit. Alicia Vikander. I saw you saying that name. Let me look at it. Vikander. Huh. I don't recognize her. She is pretty, but I do not recognize her at all. It's also crazy to think, like, when you become even like a little bit of a celebrity, you just, all your pictures are everywhere. Like, you just can't, they just like have to, you know, you just got to keep taking pictures of yourself all day, every fucking day. Oh yeah, Rosario Dawson. Yeah, she dated what's his name for a while. The funny guy from Adult Swim. Adria Arjona. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You eventually see so many pretty faces that you're just like, all right, there's too many hot people on Earth. We need to start just like whipping out razor blades and just even in the playing field, you know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. But like, it's just too much. I'm just gonna put on like one of those like pair of giant fucking like black goggles over my eyes and just pretend I'm blind. But like, I'll actually be blind because like they're gonna like, you know, block out most of my like visual light fields so that I can't see. And then from that point on, it's just going to be based on like solely personality. And also whether or not they hold my hand to help me cross the street and all that kind of stuff. What is Joel's type? Well, it's like basically just... If you still have like a heartbeat, that's just a good start. I like funny people though. I just like people that have a good sense of humor, that I don't have to like carry the whole conversation. Like they say the funny thing too once in a while, and they don't get offended by anything, and you know, they're just happy-go-lucky, usually a mix of like, you know, a little dark humor, a little sweetheart, a little fucking all that bullshit. "7'2". Crack my head open like a pineapple. Appearance-wise, honestly, for me, appearance doesn't like I just anybody like. There's no like specific common denominator for like just fucking, you know, vagina is a fucking vagina. Like a good jokester. Yeah, you know, I don't know. You don't have to be like a stand-up comedian or anything like that, but just it's fun when the other person likes to have fun, you know, and have a bit of a giggle. No. I'm not like the muscle mommy bound person or anything like that. Like I know Markiplier makes those videos where he's like, "Crush my head, please." I'm not really into that kind of stuff, but No, I would honestly like. I'm just gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna jizz into like a petri dish. I'm just gonna leave it outside my house. Whoever gets to it first gets to be, you know, raise my children. Like that's just seems most fair. Okay, the hike. Story is over, and we're on the next story. All right. Story 6. Literally selling Joel juice. It's a hot commodity. About 7 years ago, I went on my first cruise with a group of friends. I was going to be rooming with my friend Sarah, who had been my best friend since we were 6 years old. I had never been on a cruise before, so I was both excited and nervous. I know a lot of people get motion sickness while on cruises, so I was worried that I wouldn't feel good and would have to spend the entire trip in the room. We had the fast check-in for the boat, so we were able to pretty much get on the ship in less than an hour. The first night started out really fun. We had some good drinks, checked out our rooms, and started touring the ship. We sat down for dinner, and we were actually able to get a table with the 8 of us who all knew each other on the cruise. I could tell Sarah was being quiet, though, but when I asked what was wrong, she said she was fine. About 10 minutes later, she said that she was feeling nauseous and was going to go back to the room. I told her that I would go with her, and she said, "No, really, I'll be okay. Stay and have something to eat." And so I did. I stayed and had dinner, but had my mind on Sarah the entire time. I asked the waiter if I could take a meal to go for my friend who couldn't stay for dinner, and he said absolutely and gave me one to bring to the room. I remember it was just like chicken and vegetables because I asked for the blandest option they had, and thankfully Sarah was feeling a little better when I got back to the room, and she did her best to try and eat some of her dinner. She took some motion sickness medication that we brought just in case, and slowly but surely, she was feeling better. We decided to join everyone for trivia later that evening. Everyone was happy to see Sarah feeling better and back with the group. Trivia was really fun. One pair from our group won and got a little trophy shaped like a cruise ship for winning. Everyone else was going to stay out and drink, but I told Sarah that I'd go back to the room with her and that I was tired anyway. She asked if I would grab a few drinks and some food from what we referred to as the food court. There were a few places open late to get pizza, a sandwich, and other things like that. If those were closed, then there was always room service. I told her I would grab something and head back shortly. While I was waiting in line for a sandwich, I was tapped on the shoulder. Assuming it was one of my friends, I turned right around, but when I did, I noticed it was a complete stranger. It was a younger guy, maybe in his mid-20s. He had patchy facial hair and a very excited expression on his face. And he goes, "I noticed you during trivia. You seemed really smart, and you're pretty easy on the eyes as well." I said thanks and turned around, and then he goes, "Hey, maybe we could grab a drink." I turned around again and told him my boyfriend is waiting over there for me. I grabbed the food that was ready and left the rest and walked away. I hurried back to the room but was starting to not feel well myself. The hallway was long and I felt like I was swaying side to side while I was walking. As I got to the room and tried to regain my composure to unlock the door, I looked to my right and about halfway down the hall, I saw what I thought was the same guy from the food court. I shuffled into the room, locked it, and gave the food to Sarah. She was pretty tired, but said that she wanted to try and eat something else. What I guesstimate was 5 minutes later, I heard a loud fuck. Moist. Joel Juice can be a Patreon incentive. I thought about that, like, doing like a $25 Patreon thing for some, moist narrations over there. Kind of curious how many people would sign up for that. So, I'm curious about that on like Patreon. Like, do they have adult content on Patreon? Like, could you legitimately do like the weird shit that people do on OnlyFans, but on Patreon? Selling socks and whatnot. I don't think I'll ever arrive at the position where I actually do it, but, you never know. Yeah, I'll just have Fry draw speculative nudes of me. Yeah, I've had this old sock under my bed I've been trying to sell for so long. Why throw it away when I can just auction it off? Don't sell out. Is it technically selling out, though? To sell cum socks? Is that bad? Is that... Every sock is sort of like a Harry Potter Hecrux, or whatever the fuck it's called, where like a part of your soul goes out with it. There goes another cum sock. And another part of me. I hope it finds a good home. A true crimes YouTuber recently got in trouble for giving their fans access to Oh, yikers. That's weird. An extra crunchy one. Like, put it through like that linguine press, or you know what I mean? Like, make noodles out of it. Every sock can be used as a taco. Jesus Christ. See, we've got a great business. We're just spitballing here. The French girl draws me. Yeah, that'd be sick. It's about time she does something. You'll give me 50, but you want 20. You're just gonna send me 50 of your cum socks? No deal. No deal. Okay, sorry. Sorry, chaps. We both jumped, and I got to look through the keyhole and see who it was, half expecting it to be one of our other friends, but instead, it was the same guy that I had just seen minutes earlier. I looked out and he was just standing at the door, and he didn't say anything. He seemed to be just standing there, sort of staring. After about 45 seconds, he left, and then Sarah said, "Who was it?" I lied and said that I didn't know, and it must have just been someone at the wrong room. The next few days went without issue, and we were actually having a pretty good time. And I think it was the 4th day that we were going to be getting back on the 5th. What? I think it was the 4th day, and I think it was the 4th day, and we were going to be getting back on the 5th. We went to one of the one-ship shows, kind of like a short Broadway production type thing. When it was over, it was still somewhat dark, and trying to get out of the rows of seats was a little difficult. I then heard someone say, "Hey, funny meeting you again." I turned my head, and it was the same guy from a few days earlier, wearing the exact same clothes, I think, too. I just kind of tried to ignore it, and then I heard, "Hey, I'm talking to you." At this point, all my friends turned around, and my friends Jesse and Mike asked who this person was. I told them I didn't know, and he kept following me and trying to talk to me. They told us to go ahead out. Shark mentality, you'll start selling those crusty socks. That's a good point. We all gotta grind, you know? I can't miss out on that cheddar. I'm not gonna have, good quality socks for long, you know what I mean? Did you ever watch Wallace and Gromit? I've watched a little bit of Wallace and Gromit. I feel like growing up, though, I thought it was really boring, I think. I'm not trying to talk shit on Wallace and Gromit, but I just had like this vague recollection of it coming on Cartoon Network or something and just being kind of like, not like nothing happens in it. If Wallace was like, I don't know, randomly, like if every episode was just like Wallace getting like, claymation squished by like some sort of trap that Gromus left out, I feel like I would have been like more on board with it, kind of like a Itchy and Scratchy show from, The Simpsons or some shit. I feel like that would have been kind of fire. Oh, dude, it would have been like Celebrity Deathmatch or some shit. Dude, Celebrity Deathmatch was like one of my favorite shows as a kid. I used to love all the shows that like whenever MTV would have like their Sunday animation like lineup or just like show lineup. There was a lot of fire shit on that. They told us to go ahead out the aisle and they would talk to him. Once they made it back out, they said, "Don't worry, just keep twerking." Holy shit, who was that? Hall. Holy crap, Hall with the big $50 Reno says, "I will pay you to keep your socks comfree and out of the U.S. Postal Service." I assume you are going to be the one delivering them, hand delivering them. Each one specifically like Santa to their appropriate home. The Hall, thank you so much for the big 50. Appreciate you. And just for that, I will refrain. We'll hold off on the cum sock idea till I get, till my career comes to a grinding halt out of nowhere. The animated guy needs more. Oh, that would actually be sick, because like Robin made those animations. Well, the animation I think is a preset, but he just applied it to the astronaut model. But it would be hilarious if he figured out how to like add some sort of jiggly physics or something to the ass. That'd be great. Has anyone ever asked you about you saying as if though in your readings? They have, yeah. They say they love it. They say they want me to say it more often. They told us to go ahead out the aisle and they would talk to him. Once they made it back out, they said don't worry about him and that he won't be bothering you again. Appreciating that, I was still uneasy and at this point just wanted to get off the boat and go home. I couldn't sleep that night. I was anxious to wake up in the morning and gather to begin the process of letting everyone off the boat. Every time someone walked by the door, I held my breath thinking someone was going to knock. I also could swear at different points in the middle of the night that I heard scratching at the door, but I'm sure that was just my mind playing tricks on me. The next day we got off the boat and I was very excited to just be back on solid ground. We spent a few days in the city we cruised out of, and that let me leave the vacation on a high note. I still would like to go on a cruise someday, but haven't been in a rush and don't see myself going anytime soon. If you take enough Viagra, can you spin around like a top? I would hope so, otherwise, what the hell is the point of taking it? Yeah, sock pre-orders will go live tomorrow night at midnight, so stay tuned. Alright, it's gonna sell out in 30 seconds. I can't make any more! Hurry! Hurry! We need more socks. I am curious, like, what is the kind of like I want to see somebody on YouTube do like a deep dive and just like what the extent of content OnlyFans does provide for people. Like, is it one of those situations where they're totally cool with you selling like bath water, kind of like Belle Delfino? I feel like she's got to be a clone too. She's just been the exact same human being since, you know, fucking whenever year she popped off for a bit. Doing bad tonight? Give me strength, Joel. I got you, bro. Why are you doing back? We're gonna have to get like the highest quality tube socks. I do remember reading a story on here about some weirdo wanting girls to like wear socks and then he would buy the socks off of them. So fucking weird too, man. Like, how do people arrive at their certain fetishistic proclivities? Quite odd. Quite odd indeed. Yeah, bring your own socks. It's going to be like pretty much Build-A-Bear. But instead of stuffing going into it, it's just something like a glory hole with a wiener sticking out. The one chick from 90 Day Fiancé sell her farts. Dude, she's got a good business plan. And she loves Taco Bell. Bring your own butter socks. Sell their saliva. Oh God, man. It's always amazing to me whenever like people hear about stuff, about people's like sexual things, and they're just like amazed at this, or like they're like taken aback, like, oh, I'm like so disgusted. It's like, bro, people would sell their fucking pineal gland if somebody was into it, you know what I mean? They would sell their like Shrek earwax like cotton candy. Yeah, the preparation for those farts. She's got a strict regimen of an entire can of black beans. Did anyone see that a new Studio Ghibli film came out in Japan today? Really? What the heck? New Studio Ghibli movie 2023. It's called Shit Cake Fucker. What? And it's a disgusting display of Miyazaki's gone insane, I guess. What is it called? Birdman? Yeah, the bad thing about OnlyFans is like, I think I heard somewhere like the average person on OnlyFans in their career makes like $15 or something like that. Just because, you know, you kind of need a platform to like for it to pop off. So just kind of like making one and like creating the content and throwing it out on like Reddit or something usually doesn't really garner any sort of like success. It's pronounced Shiitake Fukur. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Apologies. The title is How Do You Live? Okay, let me look at that. How? Yeah, because he doesn't want to die, so he's like, how the fuck do you live forever? Hayao Miyazaki's How Do You Live to get simultaneous IMAX release. I wonder if they have any... Oh, shoot. I wonder if there's a trailer. I can't find one. Whatever, we'll look later. You made $16 on OnlyFans. Oh, I'm sorry. You broke the ceiling. You think Miyazaki wants to die? Damn, is he pretty depressing? Like, is the stuff, like interviews and stuff, is he kind of sad about stuff? Spider-Man, no worries, good to see you. Yeah, he hates the world. Damn. Wonder what he hates the world so much for. What did you guys do to him? I think one of the things about this new movie is that he didn't make any trailers for it. Oh, wow. So it's literally... Yeah, it's extremely nihilistic. Dude, fuck yeah. I want to go see this movie. It sounds awesome. How old is Miyazaki now? I think he just turned 33. They didn't do any promotional material for the film except for a poster. One poster. And then you get in there and it's just... Miyazaki just naked on film. This is the OnlyFans content you've been waiting for. Back in 2019, I won tickets backstage to one of my favorite bands. Only because I don't really know if I can get in trouble for legal reasons, I'm not going to mention the name of the band. It was one of those radio call-ins, and if you were able to answer the question first, you would get free backstage passes. I considered it a sign at the time. That's the main reason why I called into the radio station that day. For starters, I never listened to the radio, but I accidentally clicked off my Bluetooth and the radio came on automatically in my car. And then the host asked the question, and I actually knew the answer. So, I called, and I couldn't believe that I got through. I answered the question, and sure enough, I was rewarded with backstage passes to the concert at the end of the month. I was pumped, honestly, since I never really do anything out of my comfort zone. The next day at work, I gave them notice and told them that I was going to be taking my vacation time at the end of the month, and thankfully they were cool with it. The concert venue was about an hour from where I lived, and I decided to make a weekend vacation trip out of it. I arrived there on Friday and spent the day in the city and went out to a local bar that night. Saturday night came and I had to be at the show at a certain time. When I arrived, I was blown away. Being backstage at one of those shows was almost indescribable. There was a bunch of us there backstage and we all mingled and hung out for most of the night. We were going to meet the band, but we would have to wait until after the show. There was some lady who was directing us all night. I'm not sure if she was like a manager or a publicist or something. I'm honestly clueless in this world, so I have no idea what her title was. After the show, we were told that the band was going to party with us, and I was even more stoked. Not only was I at the show, but now I'm going to have the chance to hang out with some of my... Claire Connolly with this is, have you seen the Nair butt hair removal tutorial? I think I saw like memes of it or something. I think I saw, what's his name? Meat Canyon or something had tweeted about saying like, why did you guys show me this? But there's a lot of fucking weird shit that like YouTube just like lets on its site because it's quote unquote educational. Just some educational snuff films, you know what I mean? I don't know, though. I feel like Nair... Because, like, what if you get rid of it and then you just, like, get, like, ingrown hairs or some shit like that when they grow back? I feel like that would be the fucking worst thing ever. And yeah, I feel like your asshole would be burning alive. You learn how to breastfeed on YouTube. I guess that makes sense. A little bit. But I feel like they should just like have like, you know, 2 or 3 breastfeeding videos at max, you know what I mean? Just to get the information out there. Not like somebody with a, you know, a fucking diamond play button, but all the only videos they ever make is just breastfeeding videos. It's weird. They're like more popular than PewDiePie. It's crazy. They just have so much milk. Oh, the Nair avoids that? Oh, okay, shit. Fuck yeah, Nair. True, Joseph. Joseph. Gotta wax it off. PewDiePie's kid was just born yesterday. Damn, dude, that's awesome. Isn't that crazy? Fucking PewDiePie is a dad. It's just weird. That was like 2011, I think, was back in like when things were really popping off with Minecraft videos and shit with him. They don't teach you about nairing the butt in nursing school. I think that was like you had to get your master's degree to learn that. Or you could just watch it on YouTube, I guess, at this point. It was part of the PhD nursing program. Making sure you have the smoothest asshole in town. Making sure all your patients' assholes are nice and waxed. His wife is adorable. Yeah, I do like, what's her name? Marzia. She seems very nice. It's just crazy. I wonder if, like, I mean, they're having a kid. I wonder if his family is going to live there and with him in Japan because, like, it's going to be so lonely. You know what I mean? You're raising, I mean, obviously it's him and Marzia, like, raising a kid, but usually most of the time people, like, have their immediate family near them or whatever to help just sort of, like, take care of shit while they're sleeping or whatever, you know what I mean? We should watch that Nair asshole video after the stream. Not only was I at the show, but... Oh wait, actually, fuck. Is this the last story? Yeah, here, let me go take my magnesium and I'll be right back. Yippee! I'm back. Do I know Candace Long? Candace Long Dong Silver. That screen knocked you out of the last few times. Good. It's a good one. Joel needs to do sleep meditations, but with some comedy thrown in. You're falling asleep. Nightmare. I snort the magnesium. Oh, fuck. How do you spell mannequins? How do you spell mannequins? I think with a K. With a Q. It's like M-N-I-Q. Yeah. M-A-N-N-E-Q-U-I-N. Mannequin. Do I know the band Bush? I think so. Machine Head, yeah. It's been a while. All right. Not only was I at the show, but now I was going to have the chance to hang out with one of my favorite bands. This was honestly a dream come true. During the show, I was talking to one of the girls that was backstage. Her name was Morgan, and she was a wild chick, and I was all about it. We bonded throughout the whole show, sharing our love of the same music, movies, and even anime. I know this sounds premature, but I felt an instant connection with her. We exchanged numbers and even set up a date to hang out after all this was over. She lived about 30 minutes away from here, which was about 30 minutes from where I lived, and that wasn't far for me to drive, especially for this chick. The concert ended, and without even going to shower or anything like that, the band made their way to this private room that we were all hanging out in. They were... Oops. They were pouring sweat, but this was such a surreal moment. Standing inches from me was a handful of my idols. Just as I was getting ready to talk to them, Morgan stepped in front of me and introduced herself to the band. She kept rubbing the lead singer's arm, and he wasn't having it. I could tell that he wasn't trying to be rude, but I could tell that he didn't want to be touched. He kept awkwardly shifting around, and then Morgan said probably the weirdest thing that she could have said in this moment, and in a confident voice she says, "Oh, don't worry about him." I think I hit my microphone. Glycerin. Let the days go by. Glycerin. It would have been easier with you. Glycerin. Then Morgan said probably the weirdest thing she could have said in this moment, and in a confident voice she just says, "Oh, don't worry about him." She pointed at me and then continued saying, "That's my husband. He's okay with me touching your arm. You don't have to be creeped out." I didn't even say anything out loud. I was just so confused that she called me her husband. The singer of this band just sort of laughed and said in a sort of upbeat voice, "Okay, right on, brother." And then he awkwardly walked away smiling. Minutes later, the band left the room. A few minutes after that, the manager lady came in the room and said that the band was having a long way to travel, so unfortunately, they needed to go. I was so upset. They were supposed to party with us, but they'd only hung out with us for like 5 minutes. But even more upsetting was the fact that I didn't even get to talk to them. Because of Morgan's weird creepiness and the fact that she spoke for me, I didn't even get to say hi to one of my favorite bands. Obviously, everyone in the room was upset, but that was life, I guess, and we all started making our way to the exit. But that's when Morgan lost it. Without any warning, she threw a punch at the back of my head and knocked me to the ground. She got down on the ground and started to verbally roast me. She claimed that it was my fault that the band left, and that if I wasn't so creepy, I wouldn't have scared them off. I jumped up to my feet and tried to move quickly to the door. I didn't want to deal with any of what was going on. She started to follow me, and she continued to verbally harass me, saying things like I was a piece of garbage and telling everyone there that I'm the reason why the band left. It got ugly, and eventually I was escorted out by security. Yes, I was escorted out. All the witnesses there were confused as to why I was being forcibly removed and not Morgan. But I didn't care, though. I was just happy to be free from this chick. I remember going back to my room that night and thinking about how strange that night had been. Like, when I really think back to the details, it just kind of blows my mind. The next morning, I left early to head home, and I had about 23 text messages from Morgan when I woke up. Every message was different. I would get a message about how sorry she was and wanted to know if I was okay, and then 1 minute later the message would just be her cussing me out. I blocked this crazy person's number and made my drive home, trying to just focus on the good memories from this trip. When I got home, there was a car in my driveway that I didn't recognize. I was confused and slowly approached the door. When I got there, I noticed that the door was slightly ajar. Instead of instantly calling police, I decided to peek inside, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Sitting in my recliner, with her eyes closed, was Morgan. I have no idea how she found out where I lived. Maybe I told her at the concert or something I don't remember, and she must have been asleep because she didn't see me. I stepped back outside and went all the way to the road and called the police and told them what was happening. They showed up pretty quickly and escorted her out of the house. As she was being detained, she was screaming that this was all my fault. I was so terrified and disturbed by this that I ended up staying at my parents' house for a couple of weeks, and I never did see Morgan again after that. J.P. Morgan. Morgan and 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 Morgan. And I never did see Morgan again after that morning, and hopefully I never do. It was Amber Morgan Hurd. End the stream with another. Jerry Seinfeld, what's the deal with this bullshit? You're kidding me. Kramer, stay out of the girls' locker room. Jerry, I can't help it, Jerry. I've got problems, Jerry. I've got problems. Kramer, you're gonna have to control yourself. Rest in peace, Seinfeld. Is he dead? Jerry Seinfeld. Dead? Oh! Jerry Seinfeld, comedian with enduring appeal, dead at 63. What the fuck? Really? Holy shit. I didn't know if I had no fucking idea. I figured that would have been like everywhere. When? Oh, I don't know. I just made it up, so I'm not sure when he's gonna die, but hopefully soon. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, shit. You guys are so gullible. Always falling for my wiles. He's 69. I know, I was trying to think of how old he was. 69? Alright, he should be fucking dead. What the hell? What the hell? What? How did I get the hell? I'm supposed to be up there. Made you Google. Made you Google. Alright, let me read this outro script. Yeah, he does look really good for 69. Honestly, yeah, he might live to be fucking 138. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are some super fun live streams every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit r/Let'sReadOfficial, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data. Located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, buy my socks. I just looked down and I saw that. That's pretty good. F is for fart. Stay moist. I think I did the stay moist thing already. I've never seen a ghost. I've only experienced demonic type activity. Yikers. I guess it'd be hard to tell which one's which. Oh shit, what time is it? 3 in the morning? Perfect. I do have to get some sleepers though. I've got people back working on the place again. And they will probably be here at fucking 9 a.m. So I gotta bang out some sleep for 5 hours at least before they start banging on my windows. Alright, but guys, you rock. You guys are awesome. Hope you had fun tonight. Otherwise, I'll get a new video, get the new audio up on Patreon as soon as possible. It's only $1 a month over there. You can do a free trial. And I will also be getting this up on YouTube for your Friday viewing pleasure. It's crazy. It's already Friday again. What the hell? Same time, same place, 7 p.m. EST. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy and Instagram at letsread.official. And then I'll be back Sunday for another stream. So I hope you guys can join for that. Maybe I'll try to start a little bit earlier and we can do some fun video watching afterwards. We can watch the butthole hair removal video as a family. Alright. Adios, friends. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you so much for the support and everything tonight. You guys rock. And I'll see y'all again soon. Bye-bye.